So some of the questions that I've received were concerning the spark plug. As you see here, there's a lot of plugs to my right. I've gone between the SP542s, 550, some NGKs, gapped, not gapped. So the first thing that I've been asked is, why do I need to have my plugs gapped after I buy them? Well, the plug's role is to ensure the ignition of the mixture of the fuel and air inside your engine. Under extreme conditions, we tighten the gap to make sure that the plug fires reliably under wide open throttle. If we leave the gap at the stock levels under wide open throttle, it could cause misfire, which could also result in a loss of power. So the second part about spark plugs that I've been asked is, why do I need to go to a cooler? The change in heat range on the plug is to ensure that the plug sheds the heat much more efficiently. Also, to make sure it doesn't behave like a diesel glow plug. The other part is, when picking the heat degree on the plug, you have to make sure that it's hot enough to burn off the carbon deposit, while not hot enough to light up the mixture before the spark plug fires. And that's also what we call pre-ignition. And the last part when it comes to spark plugs is, I've been asked many times, hey, do I need to tune my truck before I can install these plugs? The answer is no, you actually do not. You can install the new plugs that we'll send you. The part number used to be called the SP542, as you guys have known. We gapped them at actually 0.026 to allow for some elasticity. And you might see smoother idling and prevent the occasional misfire under stock conditions for some vehicles. All right, so the second question I've received quite a bit of is, why do I need to replace the intercooler? Or why do I need to relocate the intercooler? So the first thing is, let's talk about the role of the larger intercooler, because your truck does come with an intercooler from the factory. So a larger intercooler, or the intercooler's job, period, is to bring the air coming out of the turbochargers as close to outside ambient temperatures as possible. Boyle's ideal gas law states that when you compress air, it will get hotter, all else held constant. So the stock intercooler does okay at stock boost levels, but once you turn up the boost and power, you need more cooling capacity to handle the heat. Anytime the IA-T2 temps reach over 120 degrees on pump gas, the engine will delay and slow down timing. Thus, less power will be produced. So the other question that I've received is, people see our package and it's packaged with the COBB intercooler. So they ask, do I have to buy the COBB intercooler, or I already have an intercooler on my truck, can I still get your tune? And the answer is yes. COBB intercooler, as we tested on the dyno, seemed to flow the best. It has also the largest core. Now, if you look at other intercoolers like Full Race V2, it works just as great, and we were able to replicate just about the same numbers on the dyno. We recommend that you relocate the intercooler to the front of the truck, because it's going to yield the best results when it comes to cooling. There are other options, and we will make sure to list those for you on our site. So other questions that I come across from some of the clients and some of just people want to understand how tuning works. They're like, why do you need to adjust timing? Why don't you leave it stock? With added power, you have to make sure that the timing is adjusted appropriately. So the proper timing ensures and allows the greatest efficiency of combustion and the most fuel to be burned before the exhaust valve opens. This gives the lowest catalytic converter temperature. Having improper timing will get the truck's components hot quickly and possibly ruin the catalyst. You can only go so far until you get into detonation or knock. Another big question that we've been asked, since there's a lot of tuners in the industry that use a lot of boost. When we're talking a lot of boost, they're using 24, 25 plus pounds of boost. So the stock Raptor makes about 15 to 16 pounds of boost on a factory tune. The 17s have smaller compressors, the 18 plus have larger compressors. Our philosophy employs very minimal boost increase when it comes to the industry standard. We actually use the least in the industry. As far as boost increase over stock, we go up to 18 max, and most of the time we don't even get there to make the power. We use other means to make the power safely. Think of it as the stock compressor or the stock turbocharger on the Raptor spins up to 220,000, and that's its max efficiency level. When you go above that, you can risk damaging the compressor itself, and the more boost you make, the more heat you generate. Therefore, making more boost doesn't always yield more power. It might on a dyno with ideal conditions, but not on street applications. The other thing is, the more heat you make from the turbos, remember the intercooler's job is to circulate the air coming out of the turbochargers and shoots it back in. So if it's hotter, it's going to decrease the efficiency of your intercooler regardless of how big it is. More heat, less timing, less power. And on the 17s, we turn the boost down even a little bit more due to the smaller compressor size. Another great question I've received is, why do I need transmission tuning? The question comes to, our tune makes really smooth and great power, and that comes with transmission tuning for two reasons. Most importantly is we want to match the shift points to the power curve. With that, you must also adjust for the hydraulic pressure inside the transmission, because if you don't, the transmission would slip and it could cause problems. If you see a tune that makes a lot of power without trans tuning, it means that the tuner is tricking the transmission software into believing that there is not much power being made. This could cause into a lot of slippage and possible failure. We made sure to properly test and set up our trans tune to match our map. Lastly, we've been asked a lot of questions about the boost tubes. Some people have seen us experiment and test with the new AMS boost tubes. To properly explain the role of boost tubes, we've decided to make a fully dedicated video, not just with the install like you've seen before, but to actually show you on a possible whiteboard, how does the boost tube play a role to increase and make more efficient power. But the bottom line is, the boost tubes present the most positive pressure to the turbo compressors when they need to make a quick transition in airflow from less to more. If the turbos have to pull against a vacuum with more restrictive tubes, it will take them longer to achieve their target boost. So in closing, there are a lot of aspects to tuning, and there are even more to custom tuning. So we can work with you regardless of your application, your elevation, the fuel types that you use. We have customers in Denmark, Canada, Europe, UK, just about any and everywhere that we've been working with and testing the VORA550 in other tunes that are available for them. We will help you configure your packet based on your goals and your power levels. Make sure that you write to me or ask me questions in the comments below, and I will gladly work with you and help you out. Until next time, please stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a good one.